It's snowing a little bit this morning. Today is Wednesday, and there's supposed to be a big storm on the East Coast, and we're supposed to get some of it. The subject of today's video is water in all its form. This 100-year-old house we're living in is connected to the county water, but there's problems in the line. We don't have water in our house, and we won't ever, just because it's too expensive. We have a creek and 2 ponds near us. Certainly can't drink it. On the days we do have water to the house, we fill up water jugs and use that for cleaning. Otherwise, we have to go someplace and buy water. We have to conserve water, obviously. So that's my dishes. It's gross, but they pile up for a little while, and then we do them, and it takes 2 gallons of water. We heat 1 gallon on the stove, and then divide it between the 2 tubs. One's wash, one's rinse. And I'll do that a little later this morning. There are 2 million Americans living without plumbing and water into their home. Most of us take clean running water for granted. Living in an RV and then a van certainly did teach me how difficult it is. Precious water is, but I never had trouble getting it. We've been here 4 months, and we have a spigot down at the bottom of the driveway on the other side of the bridge, down in that area. There's a frost-free spigot. We can just drive down and fill up our bottles and bring them back up. There's also beside it, down a deep hole, a little toggle switch, lever. You lift it up and down, and it'll turn the water on and off to the house. So I can do that myself now if I just want to do laundry. We still have to conserve. We don't have to, but we do, because there is a leak, and it's leaking as we're using water. So I'm always thinking about that. Good morning. Today is water day. So part of water day is laundry. We pile it up. It's been 10 days. So dishes will get done and sinks cleaned and everything sterilized. Floors washed. It's a pretty intensive labor day. We used to run to town to buy bottled water. And all the fill-up stations here, if I haven't said that before, all the stations where you fill water bottles are closed. The closest place was Zanesville, and that's 30 miles away. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to get there. So we have all these water bottles. I don't know if you can see them on the porch. There's one. We have lots of them. We just got them all filled up. There's a bunch there. Some under that. A couple over there. I think I have 10 altogether. Going that far for good drinking water was a problem. And then we had a solution. So my solution was to go ahead and purchase a Berkey. And I'll talk about other filtering systems I was playing with. But basically, this does the same thing. It's just in a fancy little container. I didn't do an unboxing and putting together. There's a million videos about that. But there's 2 filters here. You just dump the water in, it filters it. And then in the bottom are 2 more filters that are to take out fluoride. And then it has a little spigot. What it doesn't have is a gauge to tell you how much water is in this tank. So I have to make sure that this one's drained before you put water in here. And you need to dump 2 gallons of water a day through those filters to keep them primed. It was a little trickier priming those filters without running water. We had to use the pump on the bottles, and that did work. Didn't think it would, but it did work. So in the morning, I feed the Berkey a couple gallons of water. And the rest of that will become the clean water for dishwashing. That's my system. And then I'll bring in another bottle of Baroque water and fill this one up the rest of the way when that's processed. You just need a system of some kind. You can work around anything. In Ohio, water just falls from the sky, especially in the fall and spring. In September and October, I experimented with collecting and filtering rainwater. I cleaned out the gutters the other day, and there were leaves and things in it. And so now it's raining this morning. I let a lot of it run off, but look, now I've got clean water. And that I'll put through the processor. At least it looks clean, huh? I'll fill this bucket up in less than an hour. So I have to go get some more buckets. I can only get one drain to run really good. It's in the front of the house. So then I have to haul it to the back and pour it through the filter that I made. Alright, water filtration. So I looked at a lot of videos. This is pretty cheap. There's 4 buckets. I have to reconfigure this. For one thing, it's too high. I mean, this is above my head, so I can't pour a bunch of water in there. But it has rocks here. And then this bucket has two kinds of rocks. There's a coarse rock and a finer rock underneath it, pebbles. And then 2 kinds of sand, a rough sand and fine sand. And then this has charcoal. And I bought charcoal, but I didn't wash it. I washed the sand and the rocks. They were filthy. Even though they say they're pre-washed, they're not. So I rinsed those through until I got it sort of clear. But I didn't rinse the charcoal. And the water kind of grayish. Now it's a yellowish because there's leaves in it. But so I'm going to change this a little bit. I tore it all apart and went from 4 buckets to 3 bucket system. 2 for the filter and 1 for it all to sit on. But I can show you what I did. Now, here's the coarse sand. This is construction sand, and underneath that is a play sand. That's half the bucket. And I'm going to take the rocks. There's 2 kinds of rocks here. I have to dump this out. And I'm going to fill this with the rocks. I'll probably need to take out some of the sand. And then, so there'll just be 1 bucket for rocks, sand, and filtering. And then it'll go into the charcoal. It took me forever to get one of these blue barrels. It's just to hold the water if I ever get it processed. Got a little water in it right now. But it looks like I have a little leak. So I gotta get something to seal that. I do have water in my rainwater barrel. Now, of course, it's going to freeze, so I really should empty it, but I'm not. It's going to rain again, so I'm going to collect more water. Water is life. Oh, I don't know if this will ever get old. This is the 3rd time that we fired up the hot tub. Excuse me. Excuse me. Don't you think every time you have a cough that you have COVID? Of course, I had it already. Doesn't mean I won't get it again. Ducky says it's almost 100. Now you have to stir it up. Oh. Because on the bottom it's cooler than that. But the fire's now getting hot. I think it's been on for a couple hours. It takes about 2.5 hours to heat this up. This tub, last time we overheated it and we had to dump cold water in it because we were burning ourselves. But we got it going and it's not leaking anymore. I got a bunch of junk on it, but it works, you know. This is our favorite water activity, and it's the one that's going to save us this winter. Now is the time to make our plans for the spring. And I have plans for bigger water collection, but I'm also thinking about gardening. And that's the subject of the next video, what we've done and what we're hoping to do in the spring. Subscribe below, come back. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you did. Just so you know, I've gone total Appalachian right after we got here. I lost a tooth, part of one. So you're not going to see me in videos very often. I will just narrate. It's kind of embarrassing. I did live in West Virginia for a long time, but anyway.